I get given one blanket, a sheet. I had no pillow, and one towel.
Mm.
The room was mouldy. I was in Unit 7. Dirty, old, dingy. You wouldn't put your dog in there. If I had something to kill myself with, I probably would have, because I didn't know what was going on. They wouldn't tell me while I was there.
I first crossed paths with today's guest, Adam Smith, in a maximum security prison. We didn't get off to a good start. He was warning other inmates there would be consequences if they were seen associating with me. But we've moved past that tense first meeting, and today we sat down and had a chat. We talked about what took place in that prison, his life as a member of an outlaw motorcycle gang, and his time in Goulburn Supermax prison, which is a violent place where loyalties were based on gang affiliation and race. And how, through the stroke of good luck and the foresight of some corrective services officers, he managed to turn his life around. I think Adam has an important message. Let's have a listen to what he has to say. Adam, thanks for coming on I Catch Killers.
No problem, Gary.
Well, when I walked into your prison dorm a year or so ago, and there was 25 maximum security prisoners there snarling at me, and I didn't think we'd be sitting down this time in a studio having a chat.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Because
I would have thought that at the time, but you didn't realise this.
Yeah, well, it was. I got to say, when I've walked in there, I thought, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Probably not the smartest thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to walk out of there, actually.
I could imagine it would have been a little intimidating for you coming from your background to there, but yeah.
Well, I didn't expect an high-profile cop to be too popular in that environment. But look, we probably should explain what I was doing there, because I think it's interesting. I'd like to get your take on it, the thoughts from your perspective.
Yeah.
How it came about. Corrective Services invited me into the prison to have a look at a new way they were doing a prison system.
Yeah.
Macquarie Correctional Centre, maximum security prison. On paper, it seemed like a good idea. I thought, yeah, that's cool. I'll go in and hang out with the inmates and find out what they think of this new system. Probably didn't overthink it too much. And when we walked into your dorm, unannounced, I thought, I've fucked up here. Because there was groups of prisoners just forming little groups, talking and making it very clear what they thought of me, and I wasn't too popular in there. I didn't want to sort of turn around and run out. That wouldn't have been a good look, so I tried to play it cool and just hold my ground a little bit. I spoke to some of the prisoners in there, but I got a sense it wasn't very well appreciated, and it was very clear what people wanted to do to me in looks and gestures.
Yeah.
So I made, after a short discussion with a few of the inmates, made a tactical retreat from there with my dignity intact. I didn't run out,
Yeah,
but you're in there. You're in there at the time. What was going through your mind? Because I know I just rocked up there unannounced, and people recognised me pretty quickly.
Okay, so from my point of view.
Yeah.
I knew it was a good thing.
Yep.
It was an opportunity to show off the new model of corrective services, I guess.
Yeah.
Which has been a battle, and it will be an ongoing battle, because there's the hard line that is still convinced that if you're a prisoner, you should just be locked in a cell, and that's it. We got to remember that our country was built off the back of convicts. You know, there's always going to be a jail system. But if we can have guys that go through whatever they go through in life, and let's face it, a lot of people go through a lot of stuff in life that leads them down these paths, you know. If we can rehabilitate these people, like myself, and get them back out, and you'll probably find that most of them have something to prove, and they're going to be a productive member of society.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why corrective services want to be in there, and I was trying to sell the position to you guys, and you were one of the inmates that were telling people not to talk to me.
That's right.
And because you thought some heat would come down anyone that's seen associating with me, but eventually we sort of got the message across that, you know, if I go in there as an ex-cop and I'm saying I reckon this works. It gives you guys a platform to explain what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. So, essentially, what's happened in this new model of jail, as it goes, there's people that people look up to in jail.
Yeah.
So there's a fair few of us essentially that were just babysitters.
Yeah.
Right. Now this was, I guess, for us to keep this model of jail that we do this. So all the benefits that come along with having it. So I did an education in there. Right. So I come from probably the darkest place that you come from on Australian soil.
Yeah.
To go to a place where I shined.
How long had you done in prison, or how long have you done in prison?
So just over 6 years in total.
Yeah.
So basically, I only ever did small amounts before, but this was a 6-year sentence.
Yeah.
So it was 6 of the 9.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that and how your life got to that point. But you went from extremes, and I want to break it down, the two prison experiences that you had from Goulburn Supermax, which I've been in that prison as well, and I want to talk about that because that's a heavy scene there.
Yeah.
And you've gone to Macquarie Correctional Centre. But the fact is that Macquarie, they're still maximum security prisoners. Like it's not all the soft people in prison. There's some. I recognised a lot of the faces and had dealings with some of the people in there.
That's right. Yeah. So like I said, before I went there, there was never meant to be any gang members.
Yeah.
But that was off the table.
Yeah.
That story we'll get into as we go along.
Yeah.
Now, I guess we'll start from when I come into custody this time, or we'll start before.
Well, let's wind it back a bit because you weren't born in jail.
No, that's right.
I don't think.
No.
So, tell us about your childhood and your upbringing.
Yeah. Okay. So I come from a very good family. You know, I got a beautiful mum and dad, brother, sister, extended family.
Yeah.
It's perfect. You know. But unfortunately, when I was younger, I suffered through some traumatic situations that led me down a path,
right,
which had nothing to do with my family.
Yeah. Now, just on that issue, because we spoke about that the other day when we were having a chat, and you said you don't want to go into details, but it's something that happened to you when you were a young teenager.
That's right.
On a school camp, and you just don't want to break it down, but that had a profound effect on you.
That's right. That led me down a path that I really didn't know how to get out of, in a sense, you know. But I did try, like, throughout those younger years, you know, like, and there were other things that were happening, like, around me that sort of, you know, intensified what was happening with me from that experience. And there were so many times where I sort of tried to tell my mum, but I couldn't really bring myself to do it, you know, because you can't deal with that sort of thing, you know. But anyway, that led me into a path that I was just started to get into trouble, you know.
Okay, so up until early childhood, you said a good family. What area did you grow up in? Okay,
so I was at West Bimble until about 6 years old, and then we moved to the Hawkesbury. So I went to Pitt Town Primary School.
Yep.
And then I signed up to go to Windsor High School.
Okay.
I didn't really attend too much, but I used to go to music and sport, and that's probably about it.
So you're a student on paper, but you didn't spend much time there.
Yeah.
So
I did manage to, I guess, touch the hearts of some of the teachers and that, because so many people did try for me.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess that's one of my regrets, that throughout that time I did let so many people down, you know, because a lot of people did try for me, you know.
Well, I think it says a bit about yourself, the fact that you recognise the fact that there were people trying to help you, and you didn't take up the offers.
Yeah.
Yeah. What how old were you when you first started going off the rails and getting into trouble and getting up to shit?
Oh, I think it was immediately from that point on. I really struggled with identity. From that point on, I started to get into a lot of trouble, you know, like I think it was probably that age I got brought home by the police, you know.
Yeah. What was that for first time?
I think it was a stolen push bike or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was a stolen push bike, and it was just a silly situation. I didn't even steal the push bike.
Yeah.
But I think this come back to where I come from with the good nature that led me into a path, and I tried to help at the time, and I ended up in the cop car getting taken home, you know?
Yeah.
And then I guess trying to explain that to your parents, but the cops brought you home, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point, I'd started to go off the rails, so there was trust already gone, you know?
Okay, so first experience being brought home by the cops. There was still a point to turn your life around, but
Yeah.
you hanging out with the wrong crowd, or what?
I guess there's always that, you know. But what ended up happening essentially was I was the wrong crowd.
Okay, well that's
You know,
that's being honest. Yeah.
well, I mean, not so much through that time frame, but definitely before I went to prison. There was only two ways that my life was going to end then.
Yeah. Did you? I've tried to get a sense at that age. Did the thought of going to prison scare you? Or did you think that was just, or did you?
When I went to prison?
No, before, as you're a kid, like the consequences, because I'm sure cops would have said to you as they're bringing you home, you're going to end up in prison, you're going to throw your life away and all that.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you when that's said to you at that age, when you're going on that path?
Not so much. So I got very lucky. I actually got sentenced to 6 months on the bottom from Windsor Courthouse, and I ended up in the cells. And when I was in the cells, there's all these boys from high school that come in their greens from Silverwater.
Right.
And this is my first real experience inside the cells.
How old were you then?
I'd say I would have been 18. I would have been just 18 because I would have been going to prison, you know.
Yeah.
And so one of them turned up. One of them had a Talio in his shoe. The other one had a bit of tobacco. One had a bit of flint. One had a thing. And I just thought it was cool. And I was off to prison, and I was, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to prison. But then they come through and said, oh, your father's just post your bail and you're walking out. And I was like, at the time, I was a little disappointed. I was like, I was going for a bit of an excursion, you know?
Okay, Adam, I've heard some stories here, but okay, a bit disappointed.
Thinking back, maybe
I
he
hear...
shouldn't have posted bail. Maybe I should have done that 6 months.
Yeah.
I think that anyone going off the rails needs to experience what prison's like.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you a lot as a character.
It's a hard call, isn't it? Because there's one school of thought that, okay, let's go hard at them when they're youngsters and you've just turned 18, put them in prison and show them what life's really like.
Yeah.
And then there's the other school of thought that if you throw them in there, it just becomes the graduation for a career as a criminal.
And it does for lots of boys, you know.
Yeah.
Some of these connections that you make in there, it's like.
My preference, if you can, keep young fellas and girls for that matter out of prison, because I think if you're in there, it's almost you carry that on your shoulder, the chip on your shoulder.
I would definitely agree. In my circumstances back then, I think things may have changed for me had I gone to prison.
Yeah,
this wasn't anyone's fault. This is just the way things worked out.
Yeah,
you understand? Like, no one could have predicted that I could have got bail at the last minute, or like I said, I come from a good family. You know, of course, my dad's done the post bail for me.
What sort of offence were you in for at that stage? What was it?
I think it was assault. Yeah, so I've always had a problem with assaults, and violence has been an issue for me, and it actually made me sick. You know, like this was something that I dealt with when I was going through Supermax mainly. Yeah. You get consumed by violence, you know.
Well, you told me an interesting story the other day that you met a bloke when you were 16 or whatever, started getting into the weights and street fighting and learning boxing, and it almost became you were drawing attention to yourself, and people were picking fights around you, knowing that you'd step in. Yeah, and you went from one battle to another.
100%.
Yeah. So what was the go with that guy? What influence did he have on you?
Well, so at this point there, let's just say at that point, maybe when I was 15 when we crossed paths.
Yeah.
So I'd already gone through a lot, and I was already dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'd sort of managed through, through substance and things like that.
Yeah.
And whereas none of this was an issue anymore, and I was on the front foot running amok,
Yeah. Lot of anger in you.
Yeah, definitely a lot of anger in me, and just not knowing how to direct it or deal with it, and and it just and it consumes you. But my crossing paths, I won't mention his name because he may not want his name mentioned, but he'll know who he is, and a credit to him, he's doing very, very well for himself now. He's got himself a massive business, and he's really doing well. Got a good family.
Yeah.
Before I crossed paths with him, he did an 8-year sentence for armed robberies.
Okay.
Old school. This guy will stand up on his toes at any time, no matter what's in front of him, right?
Yeah.
And I admired that because something that I taught myself was, with what happened was that I was going to build myself up. No one was ever going to hurt me again. And that's part of the reason, I guess, why I ended up going through the clubs and that too,
Interesting you say that, because I've seen a lot of blokes sit where you're sitting, not just since I've been out of the cops, but when I was in the cops, that, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm going to look out for myself, and no one's going to fuck with me, basically. And that sort of attitude that can lead down the path that ends up in the clubs and
that's right.
things.
That's right. And it wasn't going to happen in that world or that world.
Yeah.
And the consequences, like I said, was only going to end either one or two ways for me at the time. But I'm glad that whatever I've gone through now, and I'm in a really good place now, and I'm in a place now that I can help others going through what I was going through, especially as far as going through gangs and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It sounds like you didn't have the skills to walk away from the violence or the confrontation, and it was just the one thing you were good at. And
well, so when you say skill, I don't think I had the emotional maturity.
Yeah.
It was just easier for me to go that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you look back at that time and think I've wasted all these years?
100%. 100%. So many people walk around thinking, I want this, that, no regrets. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I've got nothing but regrets. But it's made me who I am now. And who I am now, like I love this person, and I got people that love me, and that's all that matters now,
I got a sense that you're close with your family, and that, so you must look back at them and think, Jesus, I caused you guys some headaches over the years.
My mum will look at this and have a laugh, like I torment her every day. I dead set torment her like nothing else. But you can't take things back, mate. You can't take them back,
Well,
and if you're going to keep looking back, you're not going to go forward,
True.
When I came home from jail, I've not always, like, I'm fairly good with my words in situations like this, and when I'm standing in front of people talking, that's fine. And when it's coming from the heart, there's always going to be something like that up, But I did say to Mum and Dad when I come home that I appreciate everything that you do for me, and I apologise for everything else, But they knew what I meant.
Well, that's all you can do, and I suppose the reward for them is if you're turning your life around now, and it's okay. We all grow up at different stages in life, or come to the realisation what the path we should be following. So I'm sure they understood, but I get the sense that they stayed with you the whole time, which is
mate. Yeah.
So you're fortunate there, because you would have seen a lot of blokes in prisons that didn't have that support, and it makes it a lot harder, doesn't it?
Definitely. There's a lot of people in prison that are using drugs or stuff like that. The way they treat their families, it's horrible. Macquarie did try to implement a strategy that would help rather than punish addicts.
Yeah.
And which the fundamentals of it all was great, but there was just a few things in there that was a little bit, I guess, of a violation to an inmate in a sense. Like, one of the things was if you got caught doing something, rather than cop a charge or a fine and we take you off everything and that just puts you out for a hustle anyway, we can sit down with you and you can call your parents and tell your parents exactly what the money's been used for that they send you.
Right.
Now, I guess the theory behind it is they're thinking they're helping people.
Yeah.
But for a lot of these guys, they've been written off by their families, and very, very right so. They've probably stolen from them. They probably, who knows what they've done. But like any loving family, they're always going to try to keep a family together.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get this person, it's an opportunity when he's vulnerable, when he's been charged and he's in jail and he's down and out and he's separated from whatever in the parents' eyes drawn him away from him. Yeah. Most of the time they'll choose to forgive that person, their child, throughout that traumatic situation that they're going through. And that's for both of their hearts to try and heal. But what happens then when someone gets that phone call? You can imagine the old man. I don't know if we can swear on here, but
no, as in fuck him.
The old man go, that's it. Tell the cunt to get fucked. We're done. No more. You get me? Because we were at that point before. This wasn't my situation with my family, but this is what happens with a lot of addicts that are in jail.
Interesting take on it, because when you first mentioned, I thought that makes sense. It's making people accountable and all that, but and unless you've been inside like you've been, you don't fully appreciate the impact. But I can imagine that there would have been people who lost their families.
That's right,
because of that. So the punishment.
But a credit to the jail for trying to help. Yeah,
well, and I would imagine different things work for different people too.
Definitely. Yeah. But the old method of throwing an addict in Segro, right? Either let him out or you don't let him out. You send him off to another jail. Yeah, the same behaviour is going to be repeated. He's probably trying down in Segro now, chasing there's no punishment. He's going to fix someone who has an illness. You know,
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I learnt from the time in Macquarie, and we'll talk about that in depth. Yeah. But you've gone from extremes. Before we put you in jail, we're going to put you in the OMCGs. So what attracted you to becoming a gang member?
Okay, so if we go back to with when I was younger and I was knocking around with that lad that I said, so he had a Harley. Anyway, so we went one day, we were training and we were doing some boxing or whatever we were doing. We used to do a lot of boxing and weights, and it's the middle of summer and he goes, let's go for a ride. And I was like, yeah, mad. So we go out in the middle of, and when he just pulls up, he's a big boy too, and he's just pulled up and basically picked me up and put me on the seat, and he jumped on the back and he said, now ride. It was like, and I loved Harleys, like I had motorbikes and that, you know, but this was massive for me, you know. Yeah. And that was my first ride. Anyway, so that sent me on my path. Then I think I was probably 12 months later I had a bike. So Dad helped me out with that. I actually bought it off one of my mates. It was a beautiful bike for the first bike at that age. It was a custom Softail. It come with a front cover, live to ride, centerfold, the whole lot, you know.
Oh, you're on the...
Not me, but the bike, you know. Bike, yeah, with the girl on it and that, you know. And it's just like, so for a young fella then. Yeah. And I was very fit and training and that, so I used to ride around in footy shorts and a singlet, the 80s on and you know what I mean? And
yeah, I do know what you mean. I know.
I didn't have any intentions of going into a club at that point.
I see how that can be intoxicating for a young bloke. Yeah. You're trying to find your way in path. You found the brotherhood, and if you're in the bikes and the excitement of being on a big Harley. And,
well, I'd say I was in two different clubs. Both of them over a long period of time.
Are you right to mention the name of the clubs?
Yeah. So I was in Lone Wolf. Yeah. And then I went to the Finks.
Okay.
Now Lone Wolf, there was close connection there with our family in a sense. Mm. Now my family's not associated with OMCG whatsoever. Yeah. So I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Across the road from home was like a horse adjustment place, and Mum and Dad had very good friends with the people that ran it.
Yeah, where was this at? In the Hawkesbury area. Yeah.
Now, one of the workers at the place there, his stepdaughter, so she was like my first little girlfriend, you know, we were very young and that, but her dad was a 30-year life member of Lone Wolf. Okay. So there was a close connection there, and then I also had, through some very close friends like my son's godmother and that, and then extended family from there were in Lone Wolf as well, you know.
Okay, so there was an association.
So that's how that connection happened. Yeah. I got a lot of respect for a lot of guys in that club. That's a very old school sort of club. I think it's changed a lot now. I don't know much about it anymore. So It's been many, many years for me since I was in that club.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for some of the old guys that are in that club, and always will. I had a lot of fun in that club.
Did you become a patch member?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I started at Mount Druitt, and then we split, and we started to branch out, and then we opened up at Emu Plains, and just things escalated. It was a pretty wild ride, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, but you know, that well got caught up. I had a few fallings out, not with the club itself, but internally.
Yeah.
Anyway, that ended up with my departure from the club. There's a lot of things that changed over the years with bike clubs, you know.
I saw it from a policing point of view. And you talk the old school bikies and things that wouldn't go down in the old days go down now.
Yeah, it's disgraceful, you know.
Yeah, it has changed. I heard a lot of old timers whinge about it changed from what we set it up for.
Yeah.
And from a police point of view, I just got to say, it looked like it was more contained.
Yeah.
Like it didn't spill out into the public. It wasn't. Yeah, they certainly got round in their colours. You knew when they were about, but they caused problems with it was internal or with another gang, and it didn't branch out as much as it seems to these days.
That's right. So now when you've got things like Raptor and that sort of thing, you know, everyone's up their game, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not a world I want to be associated with, you know.
How long did you stay with the Lone Wolves for?
About 7 years, I think. Yeah, about 7 years probably.
Okay, so you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys there, mate, and I think a lot of guys have moved on too, you know. But there are still a lot of guys there that, and they're decent guys too, you know. Like, a lot of them are hard-working guys. I mean, there's all elements in clubs.
And look, I think people, when they listen to this and we're talking about outlaw motorcycle gangs, they call themselves outlaw motorcycle gangs for a reason.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying here, if I'm interpreting it correctly, is that just because they're in the gang doesn't make them inherently a bad person.
That's right.
Like they work, they look after their family. Yeah, they get up to shit, but not all of them.
Not everyone.
Yeah.
But that's it. But you should have said not everyone before that. You know what I mean? Because I'm talking about there are some decent guys in that just love to ride, love bikes, love the brotherhood, and you find that more with the old school sort of clubs. I think these days with the law, the way things are, I think there's a lot. I think it's more about, you know, what you can do,
earning a dollar and not getting caught by the cops.
Well, yeah, but because you think about it, like it's a big to go out and become a bikie now with the knowledge of what is in front of you.
Yeah,
I get it if someone's been a bikie because it's very hard to walk away.
Yeah,
right. But to go out and do it now, you've either got one thing on your mind or you need your head read.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because
I got to say, and I reckon it'd be a tough gig now with the way that crime is investigated and the advantages that the cops have got over so many things. It's not like the old days. If you're in a club and just everyone's staunch, no one's going to get caught.
That's right. Things have changed, you know.
Yeah.
So, and if you're going to be a club member now, you got to expect Raptor to come through the door with machine guns on them.
Yeah.
Your kids are going to be exposed to it. My kids were exposed to that.
Yeah.
I can't take that back.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Raptor came in at a time when it was getting out of hand, and reference it to the airport situation, and that was the birth of. I was in gang squad at the time, so I know what was going down, and it was just cross the line. And
mate, deservingly is what those guys did with me. Apart from, I don't appreciate what happened with my kids, but I was out of control.
Yeah,
you know, like I said, it was only going to end one way, or it's one of two ways, and the problem with that is the possibility for collateral damage along the way is massive.
Yeah,
and I'm just grateful that it didn't get to that. You know.
Okay. How'd it go that you touched on it with the Lone Wolves, that it was an internal thing and you decided to leave?
Yeah.
And then you went. Which gang did you go to then?
So I stayed out for a while. So I had no intentions of going back. You know?
Right. So you left Lone Wolves and thought, I'm out of this life.
Yeah, and I really tried.
Were you working or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What,
So,
what were you doing?
So, like, I'm a glazier by trade and stonemason by trade as well.
Right.
I've always worked. I mean, there was a time just before I went to jail where I was running a muck.
You picked two hard trades there.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a couple of mates that are stonemasons.
Yeah.
It's hard yakka, isn't it?
Yeah, like, I was very good at it, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like, the only way I'd go back to it is to build my own place or something.
Yeah.
But, so at that time though, I was working. Where was I working? I was working for BDM Constructions, which is a construction company at Port Macquarie, but
Yeah.
I was doing their banks down here in Sydney.
Right.
So their bank refurbs and that. So I do all the aluminium, glass, silicon work and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was working there, and I got a message from one of the boys at the time. He was a Fink, but we grew up together.
Yeah.
And back when I was in Lone Wolf at that time, he was a rebel.
Yep.
And then we both moved on, and I thought we'd both moved on anyway. He'd sent me a photo of him in a set of Finks colours, you know.
Yeah.
But that still didn't get me at that point, you know. I mean, I was obviously thinking about it, you know, and then just over time, I ended up going and joining with him, and I started as vice president straight away, like when I went there, you know.
Right. Okay.
And then, yeah, I just...
Were you with a lady at the time, or
Mate,
married?
this is the heartbreaking part, you know, because I lost all that. So, I've still got the kids, and we got a great relationship.
Yeah.
But I was with my wife at the time, Sky. We were together for 25 years.
Right.
Married for 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's done now, you know. But
how long were you in the Finks for?
probably about 8 years, maybe, depending.
Okay.
Like, I'm just trying to remember when I actually left, like when I was in jail, you know, because that's when I said that's it. Well, I'm done, you know.
Well, you're fully committed because you got it tattooed on the side of your head.
Yeah, that's it. My whole head's all covered, mate, you know. But
yeah, you were committed, and that was the lifestyle. Did you think at that stage when you got wife and kids, you've been there, you've done that, you came away from it, you're working, earning for a living, you got the shits with yourself that you fell back into that lifestyle?
Yeah.
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 And was it just the attraction, the boredom of, you know, being a citizen? What drew you back into the club?
It's just hard to, like, it's hard just when you've been there, you know. And I've never been one to go and sit on a fence. You know what I mean? Like, if I go there, you know. And
you fully commit.
Yeah, and you know, and that's where I was at before I went to jail. You know, it's hard for me to comprehend the two different places that my head was at.
Who you were then to who you are now.
Yeah. And then when I think back, and this is something that I come to realise when I was in the Supermax, was I didn't even like myself and who I had to become to do what I was doing then. You know, I didn't like that person. Who's going to like me?
Yeah. So what was the crime that got you the 6 years? What happened there? I think in the paper.
I don't want the papers. The papers have had a good crack, haven't they?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, it's this is I've only pulled out an extract of it that one of the country's most senior Fink bikies, who has the club's name tattooed on the side of his skull, is behind bars on kidnapping, weapons and drug charges. The 39-year-old was charged with a string of offences, including kidnapping in company, causing reckless, grievous bodily harm, intimidating a witness and dealing drugs. Is that what you went down for?
Not really.
Yep.
They throw whatever they can throw into. So they take and detain.
Yeah.
Wasn't even a take and detain. Yeah. And I wasn't even there.
Right.
Right. So what happened? And it got downgraded to intimidation.
Okay. So what was the go with it?
So this was a new member that had come in and done some wrong stuff, whatever. And I said to the boys, "Go and get him, bring him back to the clubhouse, and we'll work it out."
What position were you in at the time in the club?
I was a national
president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was 5 of us at the time. That had that ranking position.
Title,
yeah. But I also still had a clubhouse at Port Macquarie.
Okay.
And I was trying to train a few people up to.
Yeah.
Like I think I've referred to being a babysitter at different times. Well, I was that too in the club at different times. You know.
Through the finishing school for bikies.
And so you can imagine like, this is a legacy. So when I went, just to give the viewers an understanding, I went from Windsor, where I was a vice president. I went to Port Macquarie on my own and set up as a Fink. Yeah. Right. Now that's a known Bandito town.
I was going to say the Bandito. I've had some dealings with the Banditos up there. So, yeah.
And throughout that there, and we built. Don't worry, we built there. Yeah. And so you could imagine,
pretty small town for
so you know what I mean. Yeah. And for me, when I went there, and I made it known I was there. Yeah. You know, but I wasn't disrespectful about it. Not until other things were disrespected. But we always maintained a decent level of a relationship. You know. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that grew up there, and then obviously for me to try and get someone to take it over, it just didn't happen. So I was. Mate, I left myself short. I was running around all over the place. This is where I was, this is why I don't have a wife anymore, you know.
And it's always hard when you're talking about your personal life, but just to put it in perspective, you've been together for what, 25 years, did you say?
Yeah, mate, she was a beautiful wife, mate.
So she was rock solid relationship. And then the chaos that was coming from you and your role in the Finks, just enough is enough.
Yeah, pretty much, you know, and and the things that come along with it, you know. Yeah. Mate, she was very good to me, you know. Like, it was a big mistake on my behalf. But what happens is sometimes things go too far. You can't go back to it, you know. Yeah, yeah. But I'll always love her and always be there for her, you know.
So with the and I'm only going off the what was reported in the media that Raptor raided your home, and there was something that was posted on TV about that, made the news, and these articles flowed on. What did you end up going down?
Oh, that's right. Sorry, yeah. So basically my charges were GBH with intent. Yep.
And that's on the fellow member of the club.
Well, this was a different thing altogether. Right. It was a club-related thing. All of it was basically club-related, you know. So I copped the GBH with intent, then I copped the take and detain, but they dropped it down to intimidation. Yep. I got done with a certain amount of drugs.
And without giving tips on how bikies should avoid the cops, but you put yourself in a gang, so you're associated with that person. It's not hard to follow the path. And I think, and I've heard a lot of guys in your position that they've been brought down by association. But again, I suppose that's the price you pay.
Definitely, you know. Yeah. I mean, but even a lot of Fink guys are really good guys, you know. Yeah. And there is a massive part of them that have families and work too, and it's like, and sometimes you can't control the way things move. Yeah. Like, you might start with a chapter and it might be like this, but over time it ends up here, and you're wearing the colours. Like, it just happens, you know. But and it's hard to sort of separate it, I guess. Like,
well, is it fair to say that's the risk you take when you join a gang?
Of course.
In that, okay, well, it's basically, we're in this together. I've got your back. Yeah. And you could have some drop kick that's caused problems, but you've got to back him up because he's a gang member. That type of situation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can give you an example of where you can find, I guess, the people that make the experience bad, because when I went to jail, all the rubbish that I had to put up with from internal that was from us in there was just disgusting, you know.
Okay, so that's because you've gone in as a member. Whatever another member has done inside, well, that comes down on you too.
100%. And like, when I first got to jail, like, we were involved in a war, like, and we were at Goulburn. This is before I think they've changed it now to a protection jail. Yeah. You know, it's a fight for survival.
Goulburn always had the reputation of blokes that have been in there, and I saw it from the outside as a tough prison. So that arrest we're talking about, that you got your 6 years, that was Is that when Raptor got you and the kids have seen it? How old were the kids at the time? And
well, probably about 11 and 12, I think.
Yeah, that's a hard
too
call.
young, you know.
Yeah,
but they're doing very well. Mate, my son is an absolute champion.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's gorgeous. Like, my son's working, he's got a great job.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's about to go to uni, she got a great job as well. Like, I couldn't be happier, you know, like, as far as that goes. Like,
yeah.
But, you know, I'm just so happy to be back in their lives, and, yeah.
Well, that's, and, you know, we'll talk about what prison is and, what the punishment is, but, that's one thing that you're taken away from your family, and that's where, I know when I spent time in Macquarie, that was the thing that most people were saying. Our punishment is we're being taken away from our family. Now, not whinging, I think you've owned the fact that you're out of control and you end up getting sentenced. But, it's that impact it has on your family that can carry pretty heavy on people's shoulders.
I think it's more that way than the other.
So when you got arrested, I take it you didn't get bail?
No. So basically, when I got arrested, I went straight into the holding cells at Port Macquarie. And I guess there was, like, with the lead detective for the thing that was wrong, I guess there was, like, a respect level there of some sort because, mate, they never come. I mean, you can, and you could reference this too. Yeah. They never even come and offered me a deal because they knew the situation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was hardline at the time, and it was just the road straight out of Port Macquarie Police Station probably couldn't have happened any quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they didn't muck around with me, and I went from there to Newcastle holding cells.
Yep.
I don't know how long I was there for. It's sort of an underground you lose concept at the time. And then I went through Silverwater, and I had to go through and basically get processed, and I was there for about 2 weeks in the Segro with other Fink boys and other club members that were along the rows in the segregation unit, you know.
Yeah.
And then I headed to Goulburn, but at the time I knew, so there was one of the boys there that was trying to cause big dramas, and I knew there was an issue straight away. So
when you hit the yard, it was already on.
Yeah, so it's like a necessary evil, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it for viewers to understand, but anyway, jail politics are very...
Is it fair to say that you got to align yourself with your crew?
100%.
Okay, you've gone in there as a Fink, so that was your crew, and it's also there's a race divide too that comes into play as well. Yeah,
but that was already in place, and the worst part about the race divide was we had this race with us too, right?
That gets complicated, doesn't it? The lines are blurred then.
I grew up around this race. Yeah. It's just like, it was just so wrong. But we did sort it out, right?
Yeah.
And through the means of sorting it out in a jail environment, I'm going to try and word this so it doesn't come across wrong, but you're in, it's a jungle and it's a very, very volatile area, right?
Yeah.
And to resolve things, sometimes you have to elevate things strategically, if that makes sense. I don't really know how else to explain it.
Well, I don't want you to give away anything that happened in prison, but my take on it from what you're saying is that if someone gets disrespected, you've got to get that respect back, and so you might escalate it. If someone was punched in the yard, well, it might be retribution might be heavier than the punch coming back.
Yeah, well, like so let's just say that whatever that incident was landed me in the Supermax.
Okay.
All right. Now it's nothing. It's nothing to be locked in for 5 days at Goulburn. Get let out in the yard for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Someone gets stabbed and you're back inside for another 6 days.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works, you know.
Yeah.
Being part of whatever you're part of, you can still break the cycle of getting locked in by choosing to go to work.
Yeah.
Well, I went to work this day, and they just came down and grabbed me and took me up in the cells, and the governor, who was Bolger at the time, come through and just basically said, I'm throwing you in the Supermax, and you're going to spend the rest of your jail in the Supermax, and I didn't even give me a chance to explain why.
And that's from an incident that happened in the yard.
But I was being hard done by. So IAT at the time, which are the squad, you know, the guys that are running around trying to resolve violence.
Yeah.
Some of these guys had a level of respect for me. It's a crazy little world, yeah. One of them that walked me down, he was one of the heads of the squad. He walked me down. There's a few of them that walked me down to the Supermax. So the Supermax, it's a secure jail inside a jail.
Yeah. I've been there. Describe it, because the first time I went there, I just literally how you described it, the jail within a jail. Just explain what happens.
Well, a Hollywood movie wouldn't break you out of there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, and you get lost. It's just
I'll describe from my memory of it, and you'll have a more detailed memory. But circular buildings, the pod, you walk, you go through the security to get into Goulburn Prison, then you go through the security to get into Supermax, and then you're in Supermax, and from my memory it was circular, and you're walking around, and the perspex screens. I remember seeing Ivan Milat strutting his stuff and patrolling like a caged animal, just staring at things going back. Terrorists, the gang members, all sorts of people.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, that's graduation school from prison, isn't it? Yeah. The rest of the prison system doesn't handle you, and then you end up in Supermax.
Yeah.
So tell us about the day-to-day life in there, because one thing, it just sort of dulled your senses in there. It was so repetitive and so boring. That's the sense that I got, that everyone was just going stir crazy.
I believe that things have changed slightly there now.
Yeah.
When I was there, they wouldn't let the official visitor down there.
Yeah.
I think the official visitor can go there now, and I think they've really cleaned it up.
When you say official visitor, that's some independent person coming in to have a look.
That's right, and speak to the inmates.
Right.
You get me?
Okay. Yeah.
So the inmates then express their concerns.
That was a safeguard. That shit wasn't going down, but they weren't allowed in.
Yeah. So I'll just give you an example. When I went in there.
Yep.
So when I was up the top, they stripped me down naked, and they came and gave me a pair of underpants, a pair of track pants, a pair of socks, a shirt, and a jumper.
Yeah.
I didn't even have shoes. So I would go into the Supermax, and I'm like, when you go to any jail, you get issued greens.
Yeah.
You get issued your clothes if you don't have them in your property because you bought them or whatever. Anyway, so I go in there and I expect to get more greens.
Yep.
Anyways, nothing comes. I get given one blanket, a sheet. I had no pillow, and one towel. The room was mouldy. I was in Unit 7. Just a really dirty, old, dingy. You wouldn't put your dog in there. And I kept asking for an explanation while I was there, because I was there without charge. No charges, nothing. Not even an explanation. I didn't get one for 3 months. You lose all concept of time. From the first point when I got in there, I was locked in for 14 days without them opening the back cage, just to get a bit of air. No book, no pen, no paper, no books, nothing. At that point, if I had something to kill myself with, I probably would have, because I didn't know what was going on. They wouldn't tell me while I was there. They wouldn't give me anything. When I'd go for a phone call, 5 of them would come in and make me get at the back. I'd have to put my legs behind me back, my hands behind my head. They'd cuff me and drag me out to the phone, cuff me to the phone, let me make the call, and then hang up on me, and then drag me back in.
Right.
You know? Just trying to break you, you know? Yeah. And at this point I was breaking because I didn't know what was going on, you know? It was either, honestly, the only way I was thinking about trying to hurt someone real bad, you know? That's how I was thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this situation. Even when they give you sports time, they push you out the concrete yard. This is for a reason, mind you. It's there for a reason, this.
Yeah.
You know, and although I was in for my crimes and everything that I was in there, I believe that at this point here I wasn't treated fairly at the time.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do up the top of the jail, so any jail only runs through certain inmates'
keeping control
actions, right? I was doing. Most of the officers up the top knew what I was doing for a reason. So I believed, but none of them would step up for it, right?
Yeah.
That Bolger, the governor that put me on, he went on leave after he put me in there.
Yeah.
No one, this is what I found out later, no one was willing to sign me off on having me released.
Because going against the bosses.
Well, the order come from above to tell him to do something about what was going on with the violence at the place.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was known as the graveyard, Golden Prison.
Mate, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
You get there, if you're a normal inmate, right, and you're not aligned with anyone, and you get there, they're probably already got there and they got a blade, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going out into that yard. I'd never take a knife to a fight. I'll hold my hands up any day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't need a knife to do it. But what am I going to do when someone's got one? I'm not talking a knife. Goblins falling apart. They're walking around with samurai swords. You know what I mean? Yeah. One of the first ones I peeled off was from a big lump of steel that had rusted. And it was like, that night when I went back and I was thinking about what had happened, I thought, if I actually end up using this, I'm going to stay in jail forever. So I had to get rid of that and just try and find something that I could have to protect myself in some other means. Now, like I said, I don't carry knives, you know what I mean? But what do you do when, like, there's a fair chance you're going to get stabbed in the yard that day, you know? If you got one, it's a deterrent for that person to stay away from you, you know?
Okay.
Now, you should hear the sounds hitting the floor whenever the squad run into the yard in Goulburn. Mate, it's like someone throwing change on the ground. It's all the blades hitting the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mate, people got magazines around their stomachs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... it's a jungle, mate, you know? And it's a fight for survival every day. But we're human beings, so we either... It's the fight or flight. We either adapt.
Yeah.
Like, I used to spend... Our grandfathers would be rolling over in their graves watching us Aussies conduct ourselves in prison now, you know what I mean? Like... There's a few that will stand up for themselves and for others, whereas all the other races support each other, you know?
Yeah.
I used to spend every day trying to convince some young fella, you're not involved in anything that's going on in here. If you have any issues, come and see me, but stay away. Like, and then I'd see them walk out of the visits to go into the walk of shame back to the boneyard. And I was, what you doing? They go, you are too much, you know? And it's like, but what they don't realise, boneyard's not going to keep you safe.
So this, when you say boneyard, explain that. I know what you mean, but explain that to
pedophiles.
Okay,
you know,
but the protection within the prison,
or what
away
they say,
from the regular population,
or dogs who have rolled on people. You know.
Yeah.
Now, you got these kids going into a place with rapists and that. They're going to get raped in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand you're in a place that you're not comfortable in, but you're not going to get. I gave you my word, and other boys in the yard will look after you.
Yeah.
Right? Just don't get involved in drugs. Right? Easy. No. Who knows what happened to them now? Yeah. You know? I've heard stories, you know what I mean?
Like, when they've gone in there, they're marked forever. And
that's right.
Someone will eventually get to them.
And then when they come back to prison, that's where they're going back to there because they've already been there.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't walk away from that.
Yeah.
So with Supermax, were you allowed to associate with other prisoners or?
No, so they run it on a level system.
Yeah.
So I'm not know if that's how they still do it, but that's how they were doing it. So it goes from 0 to 3-3, and you go through the processes of the way on the steps, and that's when you start to get stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't even think I hit the board because I had nothing. I didn't have a thing, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it did humble me to see some of the other guys in there. There's one guy there in particular. I won't mention his name. But he's happy to choose to have nothing. If they want to feel like they can, say, bully him through certain means.
Yeah.
He'll be happy just to not have not even a meal. You get me?
And
that's his way.
That's his way of fighting back.
And at one point there, when I was there, the big boss come down to see him and called him a stubborn prick and give him his way for it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. you know. So
different ways of fighting the
Yeah.
system. How do you stay sane in that environment?
you don't.
How long were you in Supermax for?
4 months.
Yeah, and what's it do to your head?
Um,
You talked that you got to the point where you wanted to hurt someone or even hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And finish your life.
I'll paint a picture. Right. I don't sleep properly. Like, I suffer from night terrors, but these days they go like because I just wake up, you know.
Yeah.
When I was in the Supermax, I was just night terror after night terror, and it could be who knows what time. You don't know. You got no windows. You don't know what time it is. There's a little strip out on the side of the thing, and if you're laying in your bed, you can't see it anyway. Now, one night, whether it was night or not, I had this dream. Like I said, I don't dream unless they're wrong, you know. And it was so surreal. I was in the shower at Mum and Dad's old house, having a shower, and I was so grateful that I was back home. I was going to lay in my bed. I was going to go out and give my mum a hug. I was going to see my kids, and everything was great. And then I remember waking up and looking at this dirty wall, and then looking around me. I didn't even know what time it was, and it was like, this is my life. Who knows what's happening with my life? Like, I hadn't been sentenced to anything at this point, you know. And they were still digging, trying to create stuff. So you can imagine what's going on up here.
Paranoia.
Not so much paranoia, you're just creating stories, you know. If it wasn't for the support of the boys, you know, down there that have been through it, you know, over time, and you can yell out to each other. And there's a massive community going on down there, you know, people yelling out to each other, like. Yeah. And, you know, and that support, I think without that, I think most of the boys would break down there.
So what year are we talking that you're in Supermax?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's when they built the new MPU, which is the segregation unit at Goulburn. Yeah. And they had 40 beds. There was 60 of us in the Supermax, so 20 of us had to go around the state.
Okay.
I landed at Macquarie just in segregation.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was it. Like, so.
All right. Well, I think we might take a break here.
Yeah.
When we get back, we'll get you out of Supermax.
Yeah.
You didn't escape from Supermax. I don't think has anyone escaped from Supermax.
No, mate. I don't think anyone ever will.
I know they said that about Katingle, and Russell Cox managed to. Get his way out.
That's legendary. That one.
That is legendary. Yeah. But okay. Well. I appreciate your openness about it. You've given us an insight into what it's like in prison. We'll call the traditional prisons, and as in Goulburn, the old school prisons. When we get back for part 2, we're going to talk about your experiences in Macquarie Correctional Centre, and I think it's good to get a sense of what it's like in the traditional prison, and then we'll take you into the other prison and talk about how you managed to turn your life around and what inspired you to turn your life around.
Definitely.
And we might even delve into some of your artwork that you've brought in, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, we'll get into the good stuff.
Okay, good.
No worries.
So we better get people. Make sure you listen to part 2 because we turn this bloke's life around, or he turns his life around.
Definitely, guys. Listen to this stuff.
Okay, good stuff. We'll be back soon.
Thanks, guys.